ending of the Spanish-American War due to the signing of the Treaty of Paris on December 10, 1898, caused Spain to lose control over all its counterparts. As a result, the United States gained control over Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guam, the Philippines, and many other islands. Then, in 1902, a majority of the United States companies dominated over 80% of the Cuban exports and even the sugar and cigarette industries. In 1959, Fidel Castro led a revolution to overthrow the dictatorship of the Cuban president at the time, Fulgencio Batista. Batista was ousted on January 1, 1959, and Castro was announced the Prime Minister of Cuba, who then governed Cuba as a country practicing communism. The United States then placed an embargo on exports with the exception of food and medicine when Cuba declared the nationalization of Cuban oil refineries that were American-owned without rightful compensation. Under the administration of Eisenhower, the United States signed a partial embargo regarding exports to Cuba. President Eisenhower then severed diplomatic relations with Cuba, and the United States Embassy in Havana was discontinued. In 1961, Kennedy devised a plan known as the Bay of Pigs invasion, which called for exiled citizens of Cuba to be trained and to defeat Castro's power over Cuba. However, on April 17, 1961, the invasion failed when the military of Cuba defeated the United States forces. On September 4, 1961, the Foreign Assistance Act is signed, which declared that no aid would be administered to Cuba and there would be a complete trade embargo against Cuba. In 1963, President Kennedy prevents any travel to Cuba and other possible transactions illegal for the United States to be involved in. The United States embargo still continues to be an issue between Cuba and the U.S. The 1996 Helms-Burton Act establishes that if companies engage in business with Cuba, they cannot do business with the United States. Currently, the United States does not prevent travel by its citizens to Cuba, but it is illegal for U.S. citizens to have engaged in transactions in Cuba without an official U.S. government Office of Foreign Assets Control issued license. The United States still maintains its embargo upon Cuba, and Cuban trade is often interrupted by U.S. involvement. Both the U.S. and Cuba still sustains a strained relationship, with many Cubans petitioning to demolish the embargo.